Today on Ashtopix, we have none other than Chloe. How is everything going?
Hi, I'm great. Appreciate you having me on the show.
And I appreciate you coming on the show as well. We'll be talking about men who, we'll be talking about things that women go through during sexual encounters.
Okay.
My first question to you is,
Thank you so much.
if during your sexual encounter with a guy, what happens if he calls you the wrong name or calls the wrong name?
Well, I don't think there is any positive thing. I don't think there's any positive result can come from that. Personally, if somebody calls me the wrong name, one, I'm not going to stop him because my orgasm is important to me. So I'm just gonna, keep that in the back of my head to have a conversation with him afterwards. But email, especially if we're in a relationship, if you call me the wrong name during sex, things that are gonna come up in my head is like, who is he thinking about when we're having sex?
Wow.
Or is he having sex with somebody else? And it's better than the sex with us, which is why, he called me that wrong name. Or is it that he's fantasizing about somebody and that is what actually helps him to get through having sex with me? So, from my personal view, I don't think there will be anything positive that will come out of him calling me a wrong name. It's just a whole lot of different negatives, and at the end of the day, it can leave a woman feeling insecure about how she pleases her partner. It can even bring up questions as in, is he really cheating? So by doing that, you open a whole can of worms because, say for instance, we've never had an issue before where trust is concerned. You calling me a wrong name during sex is now going to let me second guess every time I can't talk to you, every time I can't get you on the phone, every time you delay, I'm going to think, this wrong name person that you called me is who you're with. So calling wrong names is just a downhill from there.
So what about you? What if you are during that time, is it a case that the sex is not good or you just a certain name just pop up in your head?
Well, I think to each his own. Personally for me, I have never been in the situation where I'm having sex with somebody and I think about another man. I do, however, think about other things, and that's just because, say for instance, you're really enjoying the sex and you don't really want to have an orgasm at that point because the type of orgasm you're going to get, you just have to be done. Then I start thinking about animals and turkey and stuff to kind of get my mind away from anticipating the orgasm I'm going to get because I want to stay a little bit longer. But for me, I don't think, as long as, first of all, sex is something that you're not supposed to be thinking about. You're supposed to be relaxed so you can enjoy whatever is going on. Right. So if I am thinking about another person in order to accept the pleasure that I'm getting, then I'm going to stop you. It means that we're not sexually compatible. Right. And in that sense, it means that we shouldn't be having sex because I am there feeding your ego, and I don't feed ego when it comes to sex. If you're bad, I'm going to stop you and I'm going to say, okay, let's try this. Wow. Because what you're doing currently is not working for me. But to call a wrong name, legit, if I call a man by a wrong name, first of all, he's going to stop because his hood is going to completely die. And then it's going to be a whole quarrel. So whether it's wrong name from a male or the female, it's doom after that.
It's a no, but earlier you said though, and some females would think the same. They'll just continue until it's over and then they will just discuss what happens. I mean, yeah. You don't want any interruption. You mean you reach that far already to stop in the middle of it? For some people, it's a waste of time. So might as well just wait till it's finished. All right. So my other question for you is, as a woman, do you prefer being on top or on the bottom?
I have no preference. The reason being is that when I call them sexual experiences, because I think a sexual encounter really is just, a quickie. So in a sexual experience, it depends on the person that you're having sex with. And that is very important to me because then I may think that I'm the greatest at sex in every position possible. But when I bring that to the bedroom to a new partner, it's not the same thing. I mean, I'm good at it, but they're not being stimulated. So normally I like to be on top. Okay. I would say that, because then the stigma of women being lazy and after riding for a minute we're tired and whatever. I like to break stigmas. So yeah, I mean, I have a jockey in my family, so I know how to position myself in order to go past minutes. and you know, I mean, when you're on top, there's so many different things you can do in order to, you know, kind of move their mind away from the fact that, okay, you're riding and whatever. Yes. You do other things with your hands, with your lips. So, you know, it kind of distracts them that even if you go on a minute or a minute and 1 second, they're not even realizing because they're enjoying the experience so much. And when it comes on to being on top, it's not one way that you can set. You can set on the side, you can do reverse cow. There's so many things that you can do. The point is, you need to always ensure that when you're riding, you're stimulating. It's the same thing with being on the bottom. Now, I don't like to look in people's faces. I mean, after a time, it's just a bore. And I don't really want to close my eyes and make the man feel like, oh my God, you've been doing such a great job. No. But I mean, at some point, if I'm on the bottom and I'm really tired of seeing his face, because some men don't understand that, okay, yeah, you might be cute, but kiss me a little here. I don't want to see your face all the time. Then I decide that, okay, my legs need to go up in the air so I can block out your face for a minute. Wow. So you just have to work in the little kinks and the little loopholes to ensure that you don't kill the vibe, but at the same time, you're not uncomfortable, because then if your body's uncomfortable, it tightens up and then the sex becomes trash. So I would basically say, yes, I'm a top person, because then I don't have to look up in your face. I can always look in the ceiling and count how many strokes it took to paint it. So yeah.
So you're basically saying then also that women should be more involved with when having sex, because they do tend to say some women are very boring. They just want to lay down and take it. So you seem like the type who wants to be involved and break stigmas.
Yeah, because then what we need to treat sex like is, what would we want to be done to us? We should do it to our partner as well, because true. Different people bring out different things in people. And then even if you're on the bottom and just taking it, there's little things you can do, like play with his nipples or rub down just use your hand and just caress his body. The more you caress him is the more he feels you, and it's the more he wants to please you. And you may even get him to do things he said you'd never do. So the more exactly. So the more involved you are, the more it feeds his ego sexually to give you more. Especially when, I don't understand how some women have sex and they don't moan. If I was a guy and I'm having sex with a woman and she's not moaning, I'm getting up out of that. That's not for me. You need to enjoy it.
Yeah, it seems as if she's not enjoying it.
Even a little pee. You get what I'm saying? But you can't be just dead silent. But even if you're the woman that likes to be on the bottom, you can still do stuff on the bottom. Wrap your legs around his waist, caress his body, stuff like that. I mean, hold his head and let him stare dead in your face so he understands that what he's doing is pleasing you. I mean, the things he can do.
Yes, because, you know, a man likes to ensure that he's doing the right thing. So women need to, you know, I wouldn't say really stroke the ego, but at least participate. Do something.
Yeah. Participation is very good. And I mean, you don't want to be having sex and interrogating your partner, like asking questions. Yes. These 21 questions during sex is not cute.
No.
Right? Because if a man says to me, whose vagina is this? I'm going to tell you it's mine, because it is mine. I'm just lending it to you for a period of time right now. It's mine.
Whoa, so Miss Clary,
I mean, come on. It's mine, honey. You're just boring it for a couple of hours. It is still mine. So you can't really be having sex and having a Q&A. You need to have sex with the person. You need to really connect with how their body moves when you touch them, when you don't touch them, when you touch them at specific places, and work with that.
Yes, that's true.
And have sex instead of just, you know, getting a nut off or something. You need to actually feel what the person is feeling. And when you're having sex with somebody, the body never lies. It never lies. Whatever you're feeling from the person, that is what they're truly feeling within themselves, because the body cannot lie.
That's true. That's true.
My male friend said I'm intimidating because then I am so open to talk about anything and, all of my experiences. But then I'm like, experience teaches wisdom. So if I'm experienced and you're not on my level, then you should be curious to do certain things or to try certain things. I'm concerned when I talk to somebody that they're on my sexual level, because then I believe that as a human being, as a person, you should try everything at least once for you to say, okay, I've tried it, I don't like it. But you can't just get up and actually not like some sexual pleasure because of what people are saying. You really can't give a good opinion on other people's experiences. You have to experience it for yourself. So even if a man is not on my sexual level, as long as you're open-minded to the point where you understand when it comes to the bedroom, you're going to get pleased, and by whatever means that is, you just have to take it, because at the end of the day, you're going to get an orgasm, and that is always the end result. So people that have sex and think that who comes first wins, I cannot be in anything with people like that, because then you can, if you're good enough, and if you actually sit down and take the time out to know the person you're having sex with in terms of how their body moves when they get horny, then you can probably even give them an orgasm without any sexual pleasure at all.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm an advocate for orgasms. I kid you not.
Okay. All right. My other question for you now is, why do women cry during sex?
Because they're crazy. Women may cry during sex for different reasons. Based on my experience with other females, they cry because that is their way of showing appreciation for having an orgasm. It's just something that happens, and the crying doesn't mean that they're hurt. It means that they're happy. There are some women that will cry because of pain, and I have been one of those women that have cried because of pain, because listen, I'm not into the business of having a man say I ran or that I called Cree. My reputation sexually is important to me. So if I'm having sex and I'm feeling pain, like my womb is shifted or it's going to drop out through my vagina, I'm going to take it and go one side and cry after we're finished. Listen, men are all about ego. And so if you're having sex with a man and you start to cry, the first thing is that he mash you up and you can't handle him and all of that. Chances are you can't handle him, but he shifted too much to the right or to the left and you shifted my womb. So in my head, I'm thinking about, okay, so now you've given me 2 weeks of not having sex because I'm going to have to go to the doctor and give my womb time to heal and shift back into position. And some women will cry when they're in pain, because then you can have pleasurable pain, but then you can have pain where every time you're thrusted, it hurts you. You can have pains like if it's like a pin. You can have pains where the pressure becomes like it's something boring in your skin.
Yeah.
And so in those situations, really and truly, a man should stop. Some men may stop. Some men probably think that the crying is because of the sex until it gets more intense. So most of the time, I can tell you that if a woman does cry during sex, it would be because of a pain that she can no longer bear because of the sexual activity. But there are some women, and they may be few or far between, but there are some women that when they have an orgasm, they cry. Just like how some women have an orgasm and they shiver and they get out of control. Yes. There are some women that do cry.
But you have some women, like, after they finish having sex and they just, like, a couple seconds after it, they just start to cry. Could it be a case where they're just overwhelmed, or it just, they get emotional, they have that connection with that guy?
Yeah, they could be very emotional persons. It could also be the fact that it's your friend's man and his dick is so nice and now you have to give it up while you're crying. It could also mean that, yes, they're overwhelmed because the experience was so good. I have had colleagues that have cried after sex because the man met and exceeded the expectation. And again, as I said, it's not their man, or, you have an arrangement with somebody that is just casual, but because they make you feel a certain type of way, because you have women that have never had an orgasm, and then they buck up on this one Joe that made them probably have an orgasm for the first time in their life. Who would want to give that up?
That's true. Even if a people
you wouldn't want to give that up. Exactly, even if it's somebody's man, you're not going to want to give that up. But the mere fact that you've been having sex most of your life and you've never had an orgasm, and this one person that has done the same thing that everybody else has done has decided that, hey, your vagina likes him, I would cry too, because listen.
I get you.
But yeah, there are some women that are just really emotional, and their crying doesn't really mean anything besides appreciation.
Well, Miss Chloe Ray, it was very nice having you on the show tonight.
I'm happy to be here, and I'm glad that you chose to talk to me today.
But it was nice speaking to you again, and wish you the very best.
Thank you so much for having me, and I wish you all the best as well.
All right, take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.